I'm Allison. Welcome to my YouTube channel that I just made. I'm so proud of it. Okay. I am going to tell you about The Artist's Way, which is a book by Julia Cameron. She wrote it to unblock artists. She was just walking down the street and she went, these people all are creatively blocked. I need to unblock them. And she wrote a book. There were a few more steps, but that was it. And I'm going to work my way through it. It's book praise. Apparently creativity is like just as important for your mental health as diet and exercise. For me personally, changing my diet and adding daily activity to my life has changed my health and my fully, like mental health, spiritual health, physical health, completely, way more than any like antidepressant or anti-anxiety med or ADHD med ever did. And so, in the spirit of how successful my journeys with diet and exercise have been, let me introduce you to my creative journey. Woo! Okay. To heal myself creatively and nurture that part of my soul. And I am so excited about the next, I think it's 12 weeks. Yeah. This is week 1 of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Why should you care? Well, this book is all about releasing your inner creativity and healing yourself creatively. That's like the goal of it, is to unblock yourself. Because we're all, if we're not creating, I think we're all blocked in some way. Like there are people out there and you're like, they're killing it. I don't know how they're doing it. Maybe it's in this book. Reading this book the first week was a pain. It's a pain because there's an entire like super long introduction and a super long what after that that's the basic tools, and it's like takes you so long just to get to chapter 1, which is really frustrating. So chapter 1 has taken me probably like a month. It's taken me a month to get to the point where I feel ready to like go over chapter 1 and do this video and move on to the next week. Next week will be 1 week long and the one after that. But this first section, I really wanted to like absorb it all in. I'm going to do my weekly check-in. That's what I'll be doing each week on my YouTube channel, is the weekly check-in, and then just talking about what I got out of that week and what I feel like I could bring to you that could maybe be helpful for like you, for everyone nurturing their creativity. Anyways, here's the check-in. So question 1 is, how many days this week did you do your morning pages? 7 out of 7, we always hope. How was the experience for you? Like I said, this has been more than a week that I've been working on the first week. But I did my morning pages pretty often. I've done a lot of them. I've done more than a week's worth at this point. I'd say I don't go 2 days without skipping. I haven't gone really like 2 days without skipping. But it's difficult to be consistent for more than 3 days. And this is my little notebook. I got it from my boyfriend's mom. And Doechii, like in her video, she flashed all her morning pages. I don't know. What if you read them? I can't risk that. These are my notes. My morning pages are in here. They are mine. They are not for you. You could go write your own. I really liked the morning pages. The first couple days I did them, they were difficult, or like, it's just 3 pages feels like so much. And it also, I'm like, my hand's cramping. I don't want to sit here any longer. And it's hard to get yourself to do the full 3, at least for me, it was hard to get myself to do the full 3 pages. And I'd start like writing bigger or taking up a couple extra spaces. You know, we need it like double spaced. But after doing them consistently, I felt like the third time I did my morning pages, it felt like exercise does. It was like, oh my God, I needed this. Like this, like it was this release, of like, let's set all this down and move on. And it feels so really healthy. It feels really healthy to journal each day. And I'm sure it is. And that's why so many people do it. And I'm not like, this isn't groundbreaking. But I really enjoyed my morning pages. And I would say, let's say of the past week technically is the 25th. I would say I've done them like 4 out of the 7 days this week. So hopefully we will be better moving forward. But I, despite that, am thankful for the time I've taken to sit down and do this. And I've gotten a lot of the morning pages. I recommend them. Sometimes I have to do night pages. I'm also a student, so a few times I've been at school. It's never easy to find time to do them. And it's typically not right first thing in the morning for me because I have so many other things I'm focused on. I hope maybe in the future it will be. The Artist's Way. No matter what your age or your life path, whether making art is your career or your hobby or your dream, it is not too late or too egotistical or too selfish or too silly to work on your creativity. Okay? I'll share with you a few of my highlights. Oh, well, I highlighted a few things just because what she says is so silly. Sometimes, like this part, she goes, I recently did a book signing, speaking to a crowd of seekers about the magic of morning pages. A tall man approached the desk where I sat. I want to thank you, the man asked softly. For a quarter century of morning pages, in all that time, I've missed only one day, the day I had quadruple bypass surgery. I pictured the man recovering in his hospital bed, a journal propped by his side. He now looked the picture of vibrant health. His well-being was palpable. And then this is what I highlighted. Was that also a boon of the pages? No arena of our life is immune to their wisdom. So sometimes she'll say things that you're like, this woman is quack and very woo-woo. And the podcast I listened to told me to highlight those things. Just to be able to move on. So I didn't highlight some quack and woo-woo things I saw, but some things I highlighted that I really loved or felt like I got a lot out of were, well, week 1 is all about going over your like negative core beliefs and your inner critic. Your inner critics and like where you got those from or like who said that at one point to like make you feel that way. And one line I highlighted I felt like I really connected with or like I felt heard was this part it went. Paul's core negative belief was that he was only kidding himself that he could write. This belief had dominated his thinking for a decade. And obviously, yeah. I mean, I think probably every creative person struggles with that, I think. But obviously, I do feel like I painted this painting right behind me. It's one of my favorites, and I did it in high school, and it does feel like a fluke, right? Like, maybe I got lucky that time. I don't know. But I do feel like that inner voice in my head, like, is like, who do you think you are? All the time. And this chapter is so great for helping you move past that, at least working to confront it and recognize it, you know, not just allow the thoughts to keep coming and not know where they're from and internalize them. There were some activities that we worked through this week. And there are like 10 of them. I did several of them. So I did number 9. It says, in working with affirmations and blurts, very often injuries and monsters swim back to us. Add these to your list as they occur to you. Work with each blurt individually. Turn each negative into an affirmative positive. And so I took all my blurts and I turned them into positives. They're in my notebook. One of my blurts that came up when I was, when I focused on, well, one thing she has you do is to like write out over and over again 10 times, like, I am a brilliant and prolific, da-da-da. Like, whatever you are, right? And I put, I'm a brilliant and prolific painter and ceramicist. And one of the blurts that came up was, you haven't been to the studio in over a year to make a piece. Another one came up was, when's the last time you painted or even finished a painting? Which is, these are valid blurts, right? Another blurt that popped up was, well, that's probably not that special or difficult at all to achieve. Which is fair enough, because it's me, right? Like, if I did it, then anybody could do it, and that's silly. And so I took, those are in sticky notes, and then underneath them are the affirmations. So I took, you haven't been to the studio in over a year to make a piece, and I turned it into a daily affirmation of, the work I put into my art is valued. And then some of my other affirmations, I won't go one for one because, I made it too confusing. The experience I have living in as an artist is something to be treasured. I make art. I can finish anything I set my mind to. I can achieve anything I want to achieve. Literally anything. That's why I'm here, making my first YouTube video and embarrassing myself on the internet. We were supposed to make a Monsters Hall of Fame, so you draw out artistic monsters or people who have stomped on your inner child in the past. I made frames and then I drew them in each frame, and it's not good. I'm making it sound better than it is. I'm going to cover the names. I didn't have a third one. I had two. And I just doodled them. Because I don't have a ton of time for these activities. But I want to fit them in. And do them how I can. And you just basically put them in the Monsters Hall of Fame. And we move on. All right, what am I missing? My artist day. Oh, I went to see Hamilton. That was probably my favorite part of the week. I went to see Hamilton. Let's roll the clips. Roll the clips! It's my first artist day, and I'm going to the movie theater. I thought I might video it and pretend I'm an influencer. Because that feels really nurturing to my inner child. We're here at AFC. And I feel like this is super fitting because I went to this theater a ton as a kid.
Go real. Great stories below.
And yeah, Hamilton was so fun. I felt free, and I really did feel like my inner child came out. And that's such a weird thing to say. That itself is very woo-woo. But I had a great week, and I will report back next week. Oh, and I broke my leg. A horse fell on my leg. And now artist dates. Taking yourself on an artist date alone is going to be way, way harder.